Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Amen. 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 Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you. Be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace.
His favor go before you, 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May his favor be upon you, and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May his favor be upon you, and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May his favor be upon you, and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May his presence go before you and behind
everyone. Hope you've been enjoying this week's Passion Week devotionals. Seth's been doing really cool stuff, and I'm excited to bring you a little bit more today from Matthew 27, verses 1 through 61. Get your Bibles and buckle up because we're going to read every single... No, I'm just joking. We're not going to read it all, but I am going to bring you something that the devotional curriculum gave us that was just really, really good, and expound on that a little bit through Matthew 27, verses 1 through 61. I like how Seth's been going over the chapter headings, so I'll tell you that this chapter includes Jesus being delivered to Pilate. And remember that you can go through the Gospels and see the different people who have different perspective here on this situation. Jesus being delivered to Pilate, Judas's death, the crowd choosing Barabbas, and Pilate sentencing Jesus to death, and then his mocking, his eventual crucifixion, death, and burial. There's obviously more to the story, and we'll continue as we go toward Easter, but a couple of things that I wanted to look at. First, imagine knowing what was coming as God, and then also having the ability and the wherewithal to actually go through it all, understanding what it would feel like as a man. That's got to be a tough situation for Jesus to have to deal with. Psalm 22 said, I am poured out like water. This is what the psalm said about the Messiah, about Jesus. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are disjointed. My heart is like wax melting within me. My strength is dried up like baked clay. My tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. You put me into the dust of death, for dogs have surrounded me. Can you imagine how that must have felt? A gang of evildoers is closed in on me. They pierced my hands and feet. I can count all my bones. People look and stare at me. Jesus' pain was physical as well as spiritual, and he even felt relational alienation. My God, why have you forsaken me? He couldn't rightly deal with the pain and all of the different things that you and I were going to go through if he didn't deal with them himself personally, if he hadn't felt that in himself. Isaiah 53 says he has borne our griefs and sorrows. This is a prophecy from Isaiah about the Messiah, about Jesus. He was pierced for our transgressions, crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that brought us peace, and by his wounds we are healed. He was oppressed and afflicted. Another part of Isaiah 53 says he was oppressed and afflicted, judged and cut off from the land of the living, stricken and crushed, put to grief. And because of all those things he went through, we're now forgiven and free. His soul made an offering for guilt. He even made many to be accounted righteousness, and he makes intercession now for transgressors. He became sin, 2 Corinthians 5 tells us, so that we may be the righteousness of God. He endured separation so we'd never have to. He gave us his ministry of reconciliation. Side note here, who do you need to reconcile with today? He purchased this right because he endured our abandonment. Our commentary text said it best when it said this entrance into God's presence is why, right after Jesus died, the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom, verse 51. The barrier separating man from God was ripped away by God, so that hell-deserving sinners could be welcomed safely into the presence of an infinitely holy God of the universe. Isn't that cool? The commentary concludes with this question, and I want to leave it with you. Do you see now why the cross is so significant? What happened on the cross was so much more than a naked man dying on a wooden post on the side of a road in a nondescript part of the world. This was the holy God of the universe giving his Son to die our death, endure our condemnation, and suffer our separation so that we could be declared righteous and welcomed into his presence. I'm looking forward to the rest of the series because it doesn't end here. Hopefully you'll enjoy tomorrow's devotional and Sunday Easter. Thank you guys for joining us today.